Hi everyone, I will be showing you a demo on how to paint your painting studies, your black and white grayscale painting studies. I already showed you, this is going to be the 2-value one. Here is the still life that I chose, okay? And I did the drawing study for 2 values in my sketchbook, okay? Just 1 and 2 values. And then I transferred the drawing onto a prepared gessoed surface, in this case watercolor paper, and I will be just painting 2 values. It doesn't matter which 2 values you choose, okay? It could be like dark and dark, but you know, you could try to match it. I will probably do just 1 and 4 or like 2 and 5. You can do 2 and 7, 2 and 8, it doesn't matter. 2 values, that's the rule, okay? And you're gonna have to do 2 drawings and 2 paintings using only 2 values, okay? And then 1 drawing, 1 painting using 3 values, 1 drawing, 1 painting using 4 values, 1 drawing, 1 painting using 5 values. And so it's gonna be a total of 5 drawings and 5 paintings, okay? Like my handwork. Okay, so I did it for just like 1 2-value drawing, and then here, this one is for my 3 values. My 3 values, and this is my drawing study, okay? And I transferred it onto my gessoed prepared surface, and the still life that I'm working with for this one is the cone is on that side. This one right. Nope, just kidding. Not that one. It is this one right here. Okay, so let's get started. Technically you don't even have to look at this, but I'll just leave it out for reference. I'm gonna go back to my 2-value study, okay? Prepare your workspace. Bloop, okay? I am going to tape down. There's a mess. Tape down. My painting, okay? So I get nice clean edges. And I don't get my table dirty. Good. I'm going to have my drawing next to me just in case. Okay, right here. I'm going to set up my study right there. Set up my space, my napkin. Painting takes up a lot of space. So. And so there are different ways to go about. You need 2 values, so like I said, you can just leave the lighter value, like just the paper blank. You don't have to color it in white, or you can give it a little bit of value, like a very, very light gray, like this or this. It's up to you, as long as you have 2 values. I think I will make batches for my 2 values. So I'm going to start with, I think I will do a light gray. And just because I can. And this is really weird because I'm like using this is actually a canvas with the plastic wrapping still on, but I didn't want to use aluminum foil because last time like I really struggled with like being able to see the values, so I'm just gonna use this. If you can, please get the disposable palette stuff. That is awesome. You just throw it away, and if you have fresh paint on it still, like leftover paint on it still, you don't have to throw that paper away. You can just leave it and put a piece of saran or plastic wrap on top so that the paint doesn't dry out. Usually like oil paint, it takes a while, it takes a couple days to dry anyway, even more depending on the humidity and stuff. So I just leave it. Okay, here's my dark value batch. And you can reuse these, you know. I don't think I want it that dark. You can reuse these values for your other 4 paintings that you have to do, so don't feel like you're making too much or too little, okay? And one of the things that you're gonna maybe have trouble with is not blending your paints, which I struggle with as well, but just 2 values. Okay, I think that is good. Make sure all your paint is incorporated and blended to become one value without any streaks or spots. Here, just going to use rags or old t-shirts or old towels. Right here, have my Dunkin' Donuts paint water that I will not drink. All right, here we go. Time to make some art. If you want, you can water it down. It doesn't matter if you do light or dark, but let's try starting with the darker volume, okay? And let's go, go, go. So even though this cone is separate from the cone shadow here, the shadowed area of the cone and then the shadow that the cone is making on the table is just gonna become one, okay? No outlines, just one. And this is where it gets kind of uncomfortable. I need a smaller brush. And if possible, like, let yourself have like a lot of brushes. These are really cheap brushes, to be honest, and I think brushes are something that is worth kind of spending a little more because they will last you longer than if you were to use like cheaper brushes. Because cheap brushes, like the shape, the brush shape like loses. The brush loses its shape, like the hairs, after a few washes, and it drives me crazy because I'm like trying to get small details. But like the more, like the nicer, better ones, good quality brushes, they do last a little bit more longer. So. And I would recommend that you paint on a surface that's not like, it's not like super nice canvas or anything like that, because these are just studies. And, you know, sometimes they turn out okay, but right now we're just trying to look at values and value shapes, and not necessarily about, you know, making a masterpiece. If you want, if you think that the objects that or the still life photos, images that I sent you are too simple, and you want something a bit more challenging, like I don't know, what is there, like, but it has to be white, gray, or black, like somewhere, something that's not colored, like bright red or anything like that, just so that it's easier for you to see the values. By all means, go ahead and set up your own still life, because these are pretty basic, very simple still life setups. Just make sure that there is a strong directional light. It doesn't matter where it's coming from, just so that there are shadows and values. That, and I use a bigger brush. When possible, use a bigger brush to cover larger areas. When I first started painting in college, I'm a very like I'm a very like detail oriented. Like I like things kind of just like very precise, and so one of the hardest things for me was using a large brush, and not necessarily like having to be like focus on small fine lines and being perfect with the lines and angles. Because they were, the instructor, the professor I had, she just wanted us to like just get the paint down, and we just had like 10 minutes to do a very complicated still life, like these still life studies, and it was in color, so it was one of the most stressful things that I had ever done. But I think it's also good to kind of be pushed outside of your comfort zone. Like I love things just like super smooth, and I'm not a big fan of texture even in my paintings. If you haven't seen my work, just very flat and not very gestural in a way. But because I was encouraged, or I kind of had no choice, to not be so precise and smooth and flat at times, kind of helped me to think quicker, move quicker, and not focus on like making perfect lines and stuff, but also really focus on the color and the background and foreground relationships. So it's really weird when you do the background, because the objects do disappear. So where there is a difference in light and dark values, I would really push you to get those small crevices of detail, space. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I have for now. And this is my study, my drawing study. And this is my painting study. It's not much, right? But you can start observing. It's amazing, like, how you can tell the direction of light with just two values, light to dark, and all the shadows are going this way, even though like the shapes become one with the shadows and they're not like super distinct. You can kind of make up the shapes of the circles. Obviously there are pencil lines still outlining things, but it's amazing how you can tell the direction of light with just even two values and the forms of the objects. So what I would do to finish this is just finish up and get the light value in. And you would just paint the whole thing, and this light is going to the background light area is going to become one with the objects, with the sphere, and in here and in here. Okay, if I were doing 3 values, okay, you would find maybe, yeah, you would divide the light and darker values. Let's see if I can do a 3 value one here just by dividing the table line, the table, background, and objects with this light gray. Feel free to be kind of rough with the, you know, like really get a feel for getting it in, getting used to making brush strokes. Doesn't have to be, it can be a little intimidating, especially if you haven't painted before or painted with oils. And oil, it's such a multi-dimensional medium. There's like so many ways you can do it. You don't even have to just paint flat all in one piece. You can add texture and different brush strokes, multiple brush strokes in different areas, and find a movement or rhythm or painting kind of style that works for you. Okay, it doesn't have to be like mine where everything is pretty smooth and kind of just one-dimensional. I mean, the point of this exercise is just studying values and getting used to paint, like putting paint on a surface as fast as you can now that the semester has started. And go all the way to the edges. Neatness counts. If you mess up. There you go. Let's just do the background. I'm gonna make a line later here. Just for that. To separate table line and background. And just a reminder, you want a separate study for 2 value and 3 value, but I just decided to add on 1 more value to my 2 value just to show you what a 3 value might look like, so don't get confused about that. And you don't have to do this on a table. You can, if you have an easel, feel free to use an easel, okay? But here is my 2 value that would turn into my 3 value, okay? Just even more light and more values pointing to the direction of light and kind of letting the objects emerge from obscurity. Okay. Please let me know if you have questions. Do your best on these, and good luck.